Assalamualaikum and greetings to Dr. Muhammad Raimi bin Ramlan. In this video, we will present the scandal and how it had affected the auditor of a Malaysian company named Silverbird. Hi-Fi conglomerate Berhad is a Malaysian holding corporation. Tan Chin Swan launched Standard Confectionery in Kuala Lumpur in year 1960. Silverbird Group Berhad is a well-known baking and confectionery manufacturer. The company produces and distributes bread, rolls, buns, cakes, and bakery spreads. The company's accounting fraud occurred during an economic boom, which made it easier to commit. Fraud nearly bankrupted Silver Group Berhad during its operation year. The corporation used strong fraud fighting and expansion techniques. Have you ever been wonder what is the relationship between the auditor and fraud? Auditors are expected to analyze fraud risk during each audit. Throughout the audit, the auditors will evaluate fraudulent financial reporting and asset misappropriation, produce financial statement misstatement. Whether due to human error or fraud, the auditors must have reasonable assurance that financial statements are accurate. Next, we move to the types of fraud. There are two types of fraud. The first one is fraudulent financial. Financial reporting fraud deceives investors about the company's operating performance and profitability. Personal incentive, market pressures, a lack of ethics, financial analyst forecasts, and stock price manipulation cause financial reporting fraud. The next one is misappropriation of asset. When an entity's assets are stolen, the financial statements may not conform with GAAP. Misappropriating assets might involve embezzling receipts, stealing assets, or forcing an entity to pay for unreceived products or services. Last but not least, what is the role of auditing? Auditors provide a skilled and unbiased view on financial statements. An audit can increase member accountability and account for all organization funds. The community should not rely on the auditor to detect all the financial malfeasance. The community has always monitored the association's financial statements. The auditor evaluates the association's finance professionally. Auditors are legally responsible for their opinions and may be liable or negligence or association's damage if the audit is not handled professionally.
I will be presenting on Silverbird chronology fraud. In September 2013, Dr. Jackson Tan Hancock and Derek Ching Siu Cheong were each charged with 7 and 8 counts respectively. They were charged of making false statements to Bursa in relation to falsified statement in Silverbird 8 unaudited quarterly financial account for the fiscal year ended 31st October 2010 and 2011. In August 2012, Silverbird and its subsidiaries Tencent Marketing Sdn Bhd and Standard Confectionery Sdn Bhd filed a RM125 million action in the High Court of Kuala Lumpur against Tan, Ching, former General Manager Lai Poh Mei, and 8 others. Tan and Ching were dismissed from the Silverbird board on April 30th after being suspended from the board on February 24, awaiting an inquiry into accounting issues. The case is still pending in court. If the two directors are found guilty, they will face penalties under Section 369B of the Capital Market and Services Act 2007. If convicted, Tan and Ching face up to 10 years in prison, whipping and a fine of up to RM3 million. Previously, the Securities Commission Prosecution Officer had offered bail of RM500 with 2 guarantors for all charges against the accused, and at the end, both of them accused were granted bail of RM250 each, with the provision that their passport be handed to the court and they paid the bail.
Now, I will present about the involvement of the auditor and it had affected the auditor relate with the Silverbird Group Berhad, Before that, I will present about the meaning and the role of auditor. An auditor is the individual who has the authority to review and verify financial papers for accuracy and to ensure that firms meet the tax regulation. Auditor looks into the financial process and makes sure that companies are running smooth. They are responsible for tracking cash flow from start to the end and ensure that funds are properly accounted for in business. The fundamental job of the auditor is to determine whether financial statement follows General Recognition Accounting Principle (GAAP). Next is unqualified opinion versus qualified opinion. An unqualified opinion is usually included with the auditor reports. This statement certifies that company financial statements are in accordance with the GAAP without making any judgment or interpretation. When an audit is unable to deliver an unqualified opinion, they will provide qualified opinion, which is a statement applied that information presented is restrictive in the scope and that the firm under audit has not followed GAAP accounting rules. There are 4 types of auditor, which is internal auditor, external auditor, forensic auditor, and government auditor. Internal auditor will report their report finding to the company highest management along with recommendation for enhance the company operation, while for external auditor, working closely with the government agency on a regular basis. The third one is the government auditor, maintain a track of data for the government agency, private business and individual that engage in the government regulated or the taxable activity. And then lastly, law enforcement agency employ forensic auditor who specialize in the crime. Now, I will talk about the involvement of the Crown Howard with the former General Manager and the internal auditor of the Silverberg Group Berhad. The Silverberg Group Berhad commit with the financial statement for falsifying invoice and deliver order to the trade bank employee into the moving of 67.4 million between the account of trade company. Furthermore, one of the Silverberg 8 unaudited quarterly financial record for the year ending October 31st, 2010 and 2011 contain a fraudulent statement. BKAA2013 Berhad were engaged on the February 26 to perform a forensic audit after the Silverberg claim financial irregularity were disclosed, with the working taking at least 3 months to complete. Although PKF has delivered the final report, it is difficult to rule out the potential that Silverberg financial hole is the largest than anticipates. Meanwhile, the PKF director is relying on the preliminary finding of the feasibility study, which was conducted according with the financial audits. Silverberg also has adequate cash flow and received tools available according to the PKF. In the August 2011, Silverberg and its subsidiary, Station Marketing Sdn Berhad and the Standard Confectionery Sdn Berhad, filing a 134 million lawsuit in the highest court of the Kuala Lumpur against the former general manager and 8 others along with the other external and the internal auditor such as Crown Howard for the alleged breach of the fundatory duties, abuse of the power, conspiracy to commit fraud, and the violations. Crown Howard categorically denies this allegation and fully believes that it has discharged its duties and responsible as the auditor of Silverberg Group in accordance with the approving auditing standard. According to the engagement partners, Ong Kiang Ho, the financial irregularity were in fact disclosed by the Crown Howard and were immediately reported by them to the audit committee and the board of directors of Silverberg. They made the Silverberg change the auditor to the Baker Tilly message as the auditor in 2012, but in 2013 they announced that Wong Wee Fo and Co takes over Baker Tilly roles as the audit until the next AGM. Ms. Wong Wee Fo Co as their auditor are provide an opinion on this financial statement based on their audits in the annual report 2013 in the audit's duty.
I will continue with prevent and detect fraud. Audit fraud happens when a company is revealed to have fraudulent alter financial statement in order to manipulate its financial condition or hide profit or loss. Management has major responsibility for the detection and prevention of fraud. Aside from management, audit committee, board of directors, internal auditor and external auditor play an important role in ensuring reliable financial statement. There are several ways to minimize fraud from happening. The first way is implement internal control. The segregation of fraud is an important component of internal control that can help to lower the risk of fraud. For the example, the person who requisition of the purchase of good or service should not be the person who approve the purchase. If these two job is done with one person, fraud might occur. The second way is hire trustworthy expert. Many of the employees that work for your firm, such as certified public accountant (CPA), certified fraud examiner (CFE). CPAs is who are certified in fraud forensic (CFF). They all play essential role in implementing anti-fraud procedure and policy. However, not all of these specialists have the necessary expertise or reputation to give you the best service possible. When hiring fraud examiner, accountant and other specialized professionals who will have access to sensitive company information such as bank account number, it is critical to ensure that this firm or individual have a track record of quality service and dependability. With this strategy, you can confident that your forensic investigation, internal control audit, and basic financial consulting service are rigorous, and your data will never be exposed. The last way is fraud awareness. Company must educate their management about signs of fraud. According to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiner, financial statement fraud is the purposely publication of incorrect information in any component of a financial statement. To assist prevent fraudulent action, management must develop structure internal control and understand what condition to seek for. Individuals commit fraud when they are under financial pressure or situational, when the fraud opportunity to conduct fraud exists, and when the perpetrator can simply do the fraudulent activity. In that case, management can ask the auditor to explain about fraud that might occur in business to all employees. If employees have the knowledge about the fraud, they can complain to the upper management when they see fraud might happen.
Finally, the Silverbird financial scandal is one of the fraud cases that provide many lessons and insight into the auditor's work. When conducting a business, a company should not violate the rules and regulations that are stated in the standards. This is because profiting from immoral behavior would cause the organization to collapse quickly and making it difficult to rebuild its image in the future. The auditor plays critical roles in the business. The auditor must implement ethical rules such as integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality, and professional conduct. Aside from that, the auditors must evaluate, control, advise all level manager, and verify the financial reporting to guarantee that they report transparency. As a result, despite of the auditor's prior experience with the client truthfulness, the auditor should maintain their professionalism by acknowledging the possibility of misrepresentation due to fraud occurring in the business.